live, and today we're going to be talking about carrying your baby facing out. So it is when you turn your baby around so that your baby can face the world. People call it facing out, facing away, facing the world. You can call it whatever you want, it doesn't matter, as long as we know what you're talking about. So in this live, I'm going to demo a few carriers that offers the facing out option, so that you can see differences in how babies are positioned, babies are sitting, and also like how easy it is to turn your baby around. And then I'm obviously going to talk about safety, which is very important when you carry your baby facing that way. And just a few considerations, really. It's not very complicated, it's just here, I'm just here to give you a little bit of information and making sure everything is comfortable and safe, and yeah, that's about it. Okay, so before I start, there's quite a lot of discussions about carrying the baby facing that way. There are different schools of thoughts, different cultures, different countries have their own opinion about it, but it's not damaging to the baby, so that's one important thing to just clarify. It doesn't damage the hips, it doesn't make them anything. It's totally fine to do as long as you follow some guidelines as much as possible and respect safety. But there's nothing inherently wrong about facing your baby out. So I know lots of people will say differently. I'm here to support parents to carry the baby in a way that they want, and they find enjoyable, and the baby's finding enjoyable. The other thing about facing out, it is not a compulsory thing to do, okay? So you don't have to suddenly turn your baby around and start facing them, carrying them facing out in that position. It's not a compulsory thing to do. If you want to give your baby more visibility and alternate from like a front carry, you can do a hip carry. So for a lot of carriers that can cross strapped, you can do a hip carry. You can do that with wraps, you can do that with ring slings, made eyes. There's lots and lots of options if you want to give your baby some more visibility, because the idea of facing out really is just to give your baby see the world a bit more. But they can do so in a front carry, and they can do so in a hip carry. Well, they see pretty much as when you carry them facing out. And also around 6 months you can start back carrying. That can also give them a bit more visibility. So sometimes carriers are a bit more expensive if they offer the facing out option. It's not always, but sometimes they come as different models. So if you look at Ergo and Chiller, for instance, they have a non-facing out option, and the one that they make facing out is more expensive. The reason for that is that you need more structure in a carrier to be able to turn your baby around and preserve the M-shaped positioning. So obviously it makes the carrier more expensive. Some just have it included, so it's not like you don't have any differences. So it's up to you to decide whether you want to carry your baby that way. Don't feel pressured by marketing techniques or other parents doing it. It's totally your decision as a parent to do this. Okay, so having said that, let's look at some carrier. So super popular one is the Ergo Omni, which is this one. So it's totally adaptable in the base. So as your baby grows, you make it wider and wider. You've got Velcro tabs, so it's very hard to see on camera. And on the front, you've got a button system. So you've got 2 buttons. Black is for facing the parent, and grey is for turning around. So one way to remember it is grey is facing away. So to turn your baby around, you need to put it on the grey button. That's one version of it. It also comes as a mesh, which is this one. It's exactly the same, but it comes as mesh, so it's just a little bit more lightweight, more breathable. Instead of having buttons, you've got sliders. So to turn your baby around, you just slide it down, zip, like that. It's super quick. It's even easier than the buttons. So that's a really super quick version of it. The Ergo 360 all positions, which looks like the Omni but is a bit different. Also offers facing out. I'll show it to you now. So it's this one, but it's non-adaptable. So for small babies at the beginning, we use an insert, okay? And then the front is very similar. You've got, again, the button system when you want to turn your baby around. Your clips are on towards your back, okay? So that's one thing to bear in mind with the 360, they're not on the front. With the Omni, they're right here on the front, so it's just really easy to loosen and clip if you need to. So yeah, that's the 360. So they both call 360, which is very, very confusing. The all position 360 is the one you need with the insert. The Omni, you don't need the insert. If you have the all position 360, you need to wait for your baby to be out of the insert to turn them around. So make sure they fit the base without the insert, and then you can start facing out, because otherwise it really doesn't give good positioning. Also means your baby's probably a little bit too small. Other ones that we have the Beko Gemini, which is this one. So there's no buttons on this one, but you have poppers. So for small babies, we're on the setting. For bigger babies, we are on the wider setting. So we keep supporting them knee to knee. Usually by the time they're on this setting, they're big enough to face out. To face out, you just turn them around, and then you bring the poppers in to make the base narrower. Similarly to the Beko Gemini, we've got the Beko 8, which is a bit more bulky, a bit bigger waist belt. Sorry, my screen goes black all the time. This one you've got an included mesh panel, so it's nice and breathy, and you've got the same popper system. So for facing away, you just put them on like that on the narrow setting. Okay, super simple. Okay, what else do we have? We have the little baby as well. That's another one that offers facing away, because you can, again, you can make the base narrower, and so you can turn your baby around. And we have some more. Oh yeah, we've got the Tula as well. So the Tula is very similar to the Omni, because it's actually the same people that make them. We've got the button system again, so you turn them around. Tulas are fully adaptable. Again, you've got poppers inside to make it narrower or wider as your baby grow. This is the Tula Explore, so again you've got the system with the buttons. And I've got a lightweight one called the Kahoo Baby. This one, so like super lightweight, there's no structure to this. But what's nice about it is that your base is cinchable, which means that you make it bigger as your baby grow. To turn your baby around, you can pull it and make it narrower. Okay. The Izmi also offers facing out. I've run out of them because they're very popular, but this is the taller version. But to give you an idea, this is what it looks like. It's just another really like scrunchy, very lightweight carrier. And again, you've got Velcro tabs inside. You just put them on a narrow setting, and then you can turn your baby around. Okay, so what I really recommend is that you use a carrier that offers the facing out option, okay? For a lot of carriers, like if you look at the Zen Sling and anything that's got a base that is cinchable and you can make it narrower, you could, in theory, cinch the base, so you make it smaller and turn your baby around. What can happen if you do that, because it's not quite well structured, not only would it be difficult to support the weight, but even if you've made the base narrower, it can still push the hips apart, and then it can pinch the hips like this. So I don't really recommend you like do DIY version of facing out. If you want to face out, get a carrier that offers it, okay? So before a demo, a few things to consider. You need to wait for baby to have full head control, and that is like super important for facing out, okay? When you carry like this, you don't really have any more head support, okay? The head has got to be supported by itself. When you carry facing you, they've got a headrest here, so just supporting them here, and they can lean on you like this when they want to rest their head when they want to fall asleep. For facing out, you don't have this anymore. So you would need to wait for your baby to have full head control, okay? Otherwise, the head will be just sitting like this, which is not a super comfortable way to carry, and I don't really recommend it in terms of ergonomics. So around 5 months is a good time to start turning your baby around if you want to, obviously. Some babies can have very good head control before 5 months, around 4.5 roughly. It varies a lot, okay? It's your judgment, it's your call, but my recommendation as a professional is that you wait really for your baby to have full head control. And I know that you want to really carry your baby facing that way, but there's no rush, really. Don't worry, your baby's still got visibility, and when they're very small, it's important that they really feel close to the parent and they can see the parent. Okay, so I know that around like 3-4 months, that's when their eyesight start to improve, so they want to see a lot more, and that's normal that they want to look around and they become nosy. It's a totally normal thing. What I recommend around that time to offer the visibility is to do a hip carry. So you can carry to the hip and see that offers almost as much visibility. And it's a more long-lasting option, which means you can carry for a longer amount of time on the hip like this. Baby doesn't have to have full head control, they can just rest on you if they need to, and they can see a lot more at the same time. So recommendation for carrying facing out at one time, 20-30 minutes. Reason for that is that first of all, for yourself, you're going to really feel the weight pulled away from you. When you turn your baby around, the center of gravity is shifted forward, which means that it's a lot hard to support the weight, okay? So you're going to really feel it in your shoulders. And babies can become overwhelmed, especially when they're very little like this. So 20-30 minutes, turn them back facing you. Usually it's enough. And then you can walk around a bit later if you want to turn them around. Again, do it. Monitor your baby. It's very, very important to keep an eye, because when you're like that, you absolutely can't see your baby, okay? And it's important to monitor airways and to see what's going on. Especially if your baby falls asleep, you need to turn them around immediately. And this is no joke, because the face can be covered by the panel, the chin will be resting on the chest like this, and even if your baby's got good head control, there is still quite a high risk of suffocation. So really don't let your baby fall asleep like this, okay? Monitor your baby. If they fall asleep, you turn them back facing you, and then they can sleep like that. You can monitor them. It's just a lot easier to keep an eye on them and to support their airways as well, because they can rest on you. That is super important. So like, turn around when your baby's happy, they want to just explore the world, they're not ready for a nap, they're not cranky or anything. Likewise, giving snacks facing out, I really wouldn't recommend it, because you can't keep an eye on your baby. It's very difficult. Okay, so always turn them facing you, and if you want to feed them on your front, it's just a lot easier. Okay, usually by the time they're like 13 months old, they start to feel way too heavy to face out, okay? And that's why you won't find a taller carrier that offers the facing out option, because they just become way too heavy. So you can back carry. You can hip carry if your carrier offers the hip carry, and that will just continue to give them some visibility. So really, it is from around 5 months to 1 year plus. If you've got a small baby, usually you can keep going for quite a while, and then for short periods of time. Monitoring your baby, I've got these super handy mirrors. I always have one. So basically, you've got a clip. I clip it on my t-shirt like this, so I don't damage any slings or anything. It's got a retractable string, which you can't see, but it is here. And it's got a mirror, so when my baby's here, I can just like keep an eye on him like this, and I can see what's going on. It's a lot easier than getting your phone and then just putting the camera on, and you don't have to have your phone out all the time. Likewise, you can have a pocket mirror in your pocket. But these are super handy. Drop me a message if you want to find one, and they're very pretty. Okay, demo time. So I'm going to demo with this one. So this is the Omni, and so this demo baby I have is a little bit small, but I'm still going to demo because it's just the best one to demo with. So I'm going to have this on, and I'm going to show you how to go from front facing to facing out. So I'm just going to stick my baby in the front facing position. Zip. Like this. The legs out. Okay. And here, if you have a look at the base, you've got really nice deep seat, baby supported knee to knee, and this is kind of what we would like to recreate when we carry facing out. Okay, so if I want to turn my baby around, first I'm going to narrow the base, so make the base smaller so that my baby is not sitting in a split, so the hips are not overextended and it's still comfortable and we're still promoting healthy hip development. So for the Omni Mesh, I have sliders here and I just go like this super quick. Other ones, buttons or poppers on a narrow setting. Loosen your straps and grab your baby. So go over your straps, okay? Because if you do that, you'll be stuck. Over your straps. Bring baby kind of over your shoulder. This bit never looks glamorous, okay? So just smile away, okay? Everybody's gonna want to help you, but it's best you just do everything by yourself. And then you just really gently turn baby around. As your babies get heavier, this becomes a harder thing to do, just so you know. Okay, and now I'm going to sit baby in a really nice deep seat, knees higher than the bum, and I'm going to retighten. So I like to just guide my slack like this because it gives me a nicer fit. Okay, like that. Right, so my baby is big enough, we'll pretend that the face is not covered. If your baby, when they sit, they're still like this, then they're definitely not big enough, so you need to wait a bit longer, or you could try to bring the waist a bit higher up, sit them into a bit of a deeper seat like that. If you think they're big enough, they've got full head control, bit of wriggling around usually fixes it. So you see, that's how my baby's sitting, knees higher than the bum, so we still preserve everything. I would highly advise you have arms under the straps, okay? If you have arms over, it's a lot harder to support the weight like this for your shoulders. So here like this, it is also safer to have them like this. Zip, and I can keep an eye on my baby. Keep my trusted mirror here, and then I can just keep an eye like this, okay? And that's it, really. That's about it. It's as simple as this. If you have a carry that crosses straps, you can try to have the straps crossed because you can feel it supports the weight a lot better than with H strap like this. So have a go and see how that feels. Okay, turning around, super simple. I'm just gonna loosen like this. Bring your baby back over your shoulder. Again, really take your time to do that. And then slide baby back in, and I will just remember to do that. So we've got good positioning, and I'm just going to retighten everything like this, and we're ready to go. My baby can sleep, can still look around, and it's fine. I'm going to demo with a bit of a different carrier. So I'm going to use a Beko Gemini. Show you how to sit differ depending on what type of facing out system you have, buttons or poppers, how the base differs a little bit. Okay, so with this one, it's nicer to cross straps, to be honest, because they're quite wide, so it really gives you a really nice snuggy fit. Put it on, and I'm going to put baby straight into a facing out position. Okay. Put it on my waist. So I can clip around my baby. If you find it stressful, you can just pre-clip your straps and just bring them over your head. So here I'm going to bring baby like that, and I'm going to sit my baby quite deep into the seat like that. Bring the panel across, just like you would do for a facing in position anyway. Grab a strap, flip over my shoulder, switch hand. This hand grabs the strap full. And I'm going to clip up, and I'm going to do the same over my shoulder, pull down, clip. I have a snug fit. I'm just going to lift the slack off my back like that on both sides. Okay, so the base is not maybe as much like a bucket like you would have with a Tula or an Ergo, but it's totally fine. Just make sure you do a nice pelvic tuck, so like wriggle the bum down and bring the legs up. Okay, my baby's a bit small for this, but to give you an idea. it's likewise very nice and comfortable. It's totally fine. The other ones are very similar. With this one, it takes a little bit of practice to get a snug fit. With the very lightweight Caro Baby, same with the Ease Me. Just wriggle around the fabric, make sure your baby again sits in a very nice deep seat. Other thing to consider is if it's really cold and raining and really windy or snowing, I wouldn't advise turning my baby around, because then your baby's very like exposed to elements. So something to bear in mind, maybe don't do it when the weather is really bad. Okay, and always keep an eye on your baby. Turning around, I'm just going to loosen lift my baby and sit back like this, and I'm just going to bring the poppers back into a wider position like this, and I'll bring the poppers back into the waist belt, that's where they keep, and so on. If I want to do a hip carry instead, super easy, just go like this, and I just retighten both sides. And you see how much visibility my baby has. It's very, very similar to facing out. So if your baby's still small, you don't have a carry that is facing out, a hip carry is totally fine as well. It really does the trick. One thing that is not recommending doing is facing out on the back, okay? So facing out is only from the front. There is no way you could you can monitor your baby, okay? So like always facing out on the front so you can see them a lot better. Lastly, if your baby cries, turn them around, okay? Don't force them to be facing out because you think it's fun and so on. If they're crying, it's either because they're tired or they're hungry or they want to see you. Small babies can become a bit overwhelmed by everything that's going on around them. If they see something and they can't see the parent, they can freak out. And that can also happen with back carries sometimes. So sometimes babies are just not ready to go on the back for quite a while. So really don't force them. Front carry, hip carry, they can see you, you can engage, and that can make them feel safe and confident. Remember, slings and Babywearing is here to make them feel safe and secure and supported by the parents. So doing anything that is not going to make them feel that way can stress them out a little bit. Okay, so I think that's about it really. Pretty sure I've covered everything I have to say. Is there any questions? I'm very happy to answer questions. If not, pop them in the comments. If you're watching this on replay, yeah, comments or DM, whatever works for you. I'm always happy to answer your questions. If you want to try any of the carries that I've just demoed, drop me a message and we can arrange that. I can post them if you're not in East London, or you can come and try them in person as well soon. So it's all feasible and we can help you online as well. If you're really convinced and you want to buy something, let me know because I can get you discounts. Hi Yanka, my baby's 4 months old. Okay, to be carried on the hip. Yeah, on the hip is fine because like I showed, like you can just rest like this. So your baby can rest and she can have lots of visibility, and it's a fun way for them to engage with you and the world at the same time. So absolutely go for it. No problem for 4 months old. That's great. Cool. Okay, thank you for joining. It was interesting. Any question, don't hesitate. Have a lovely day. Thank you.